Many teachers have taken their frustrations out on Governor Jim Justice during this strike, saying he's not done enough. The governor says he's education's biggest supporter, having proposed a 2% pay raise last year, passing a pay increase this week, and also freezing PEIA. He touched on those topics and many more regarding the teacher strike in a conversation I had with him this afternoon. Take a look. Governor Justice, thanks for joining us.
Dan, thank you for having me.
I can imagine that you've seen the teachers that are out protesting, whether they're at the schools or they're on the sidewalks or even here at the state capitol. I was with the crowds yesterday, and they are loud and they're upset. Many of them are upset with you. What's been your reaction to all of this?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's disappointing. I mean, it makes me sad because they've not had a cheerleader in the world in the governor's office that's been more pro-education than I have. You know, I go back to last year, right off the get-go, I said education should be our centerpiece. I go 2% pay raise for the teachers. You know, a lot of that fell on deaf ears with the Republicans and the Dems. And then right on from that, you know, I went into, we've got to stop this ridiculous testing of our kids, and we've got to get rid of this A through F on the grading system and all that kind of stuff, and restore all the stuff back to local control. We did all that, you know. And then all of a sudden the PEI issue came up and the Go 365, and I got rid of that. And then I got rid of the household income stuff. And then it still wasn't enough and everything. And then I froze the PEI, or recommended to freeze the PEI for 16 months. And it's still not enough. And
let's get into that in just a second here. Should the teachers be here?
Well, no, in my opinion, they ought to be in the classroom, because I understand their frustration, don't get me wrong. They're underpaid and underappreciated. We all know that. And we all know how pro-education that I am. I mean, I'm in the school every day, you know, and so I know. I mean, I'm a teacher. My wife is a teacher, you know, for crying out loud. I know and I get it. But at the same time, the one thing that is happening here is we're not trusting me. We're not trusting the person that has delivered. And as far as whether they should be here or not be here, well, that's surely up to them. But at the same time, our kids need to be at school, and our teachers need to be in the classrooms. And I am delivering on, if you would judge me on my deeds, I have delivered enormously for education, and I'll continue to do so.
Let's get into the delivery within the legislature right now. You signed a bill that would be giving teachers a 4% pay raise over 3 years. As you mentioned before, you froze PEIA for 16 months, but teachers are not happy with this. And I want to know what you think has to happen in order for them to be content.
Well, I don't know what really will take place in order for them to be content, but just think about this, Dan. You know, if I could give them a 10% pay raise tomorrow, well, I'd do it, you know. But the problem, if it were the prudent thing to do for our state, but the problem is just this, you know, you can't just do everything on day one. You know, I delivered on this promise in a way that I didn't think I was able to do it, you know, really and truly. Is in 12 months, we went from a $500 million deficit to black numbers. There's no way that it could have happened, to be perfectly honest, without a miracle from God, you know. But now it's just the one thing we don't want to do is wake up like it's Groundhog Day and you just woke up tomorrow and things happen to be good, and you wake up the next day and things are terrible. You know, we want to be able to put us on a glide path of having something other than being dead last forevermore.
Let's get into Dale Lee and Christine Campbell. It's my understanding that you haven't talked with them 2.5 weeks or so, but I guess members of your administration have talked with them?
I think that they have talked. Now, I don't know exactly if they've talked with them or their representatives or whomever, but I think, you know, that Mike Hall has been in conversation with them. Yes, I have not.
Do you think that if you would have met with them in the days leading up to this current work stoppage, that it would have changed anything?
Well, let me say this, you know, without naming any specific names, I did that. I did that way, way, way before we ever got into a work stoppage. And in fact, a lot of the ideas that are on the table, my 1-1-1-1-1, a lot of those ideas came from, and just to tell it like it is, came from union reps. You know, they didn't come from me. I came up with the 1-1-1-1-1 because last year I couldn't get a 2% straight pay raise for just teachers. The only way I could have gotten it through, and I couldn't have gotten it through last year at all, but the only way I could get it through was do something for all state workers. So I came up with 1-1 in order to ensure the teachers would get their 2%. Mm-hmm. 1-1 for everybody. And then the additional 1-1-1 that was put on really wasn't my idea.
Do you think that there's a chance that a 3% pay raise would pass in either chamber right now?
I do not.
Why is that?
First of all, we have a situation now, unless you would be willing to back up and take things out of PEIA or whatever it may be. But here's the thing, Dan, we have law now. Now along the way we could have had 1-1-1-1-1 and guaranteed 5, and now we've got guaranteed 4 and all that kind of stuff. But the net of the whole thing is just this, and now to go back through, I think, you're going to have to go through a lot of legislative process and everything else. It's going to be very difficult to do. I don't think that a permanent fix for PEIA can be done in the next few days. I think it's going to take a while. Mm-hmm. And I think the net of the whole thing is just simply this, is we can go on strike forever and everything else. But the thing that we got to remember is just this: if the very guy delivered on PEIA and all the testing stuff and everything and delivered on your pay rate, why should you not think that he's not going to deliver on a permanent fix to PEIA? Or next year, if we prove that the numbers are okay, then why can't we just add more to the teachers' pay raise and stuff next year?
Governor Justice also told us in that interview that he does not believe raising taxes would solve this issue. He told us he does not think a tax hike was passed in either the House or the Senate. Right now, we want to take a look at